Hello YouTube, we are doing a Guardian 3 replay also here on Twitch, so you'll see some live questions popping in, or maybe not. We're gonna watch CM here. We just did a team-based one, so now we're gonna be looking a bit more at overall specifics on CM. First game of CM, so I'm sure we're gonna have lots to talk about. Let's start with the item build.
It's in the bag.
Tangos, solid, mangoes. One for fast, Ring of Basilius. This? Oh, you said this is right. This is Guardian 3, so we may have some weird drafts a bit. So yeah, Kunkka's not your usual safe laner. Doesn't really matter. We can still focus on how to play CM well, things we can do without worrying about who exactly our carry is. Though we will note that it is a little... Why is the player perspective kind of weird sometimes? All right. Come over to place a ward. They're checking their items. Nice. I think that ward's fine. I'm not sure if they saw you. You may want to, like, be approached from, like, especially if, like, Kunkka can see them here. To be safe, you might want to, like, approach a roundabout way and then walk, like, straight down and then drop your ward instead of, like, coming this way, where I think it's possible if, like, Magnus moves over to see you. But otherwise, I don't mind this ward. It'll help you see when they are pulling or not. And Nyx is not a hero that particularly scares CM. You know, it's not like a Tiny or a Clockwork where if he gets on top of you, you're dead. So even if you can't see Nyx here, but you walk out, you're probably not going to die. You might take a little damage, but not really a big deal. Why? Why is BJ? Oh, BSJ will come at me. He'll be like, "This is why this guy is wrong." Start a little war. That's probably good for my channel overall, anyways. But BSJ's fairly right. Here's what I'll critique it on. BSJ is absolutely right in terms of game knowledge and like pushing the lanes, like what he was trying to teach everyone with those videos. The downside is that he is just mechanically better than like everyone else in the game combined, like in any of his games. So that part can be a little hard where you know you're supposed to push lanes, but you may still lose the lane mechanically and all that. And so that's what this is not, you know, it's not to say BSJ's wrong, it's to add to it, you know, that we can try to see like, okay, how can we practically apply what he's saying? Yeah. That's true. That's why it's the bait. All right. I like that you're looking around at everyone. Let's see how you use these items. Because how you buy items, like what you buy, you kind of need to use it. Looks like he's going to miss. So keep this in mind. As you're positioning for this rune, consider that he can stun both of you. So like when you're in a line like this, that's a double stun. His stun is going to come out close to when the rune spawns. That's usually what people do anyways. If he does it before, who cares that you both get stunned? You're going to be able to go for the rune. So you want to be careful of that. Keep in mind how you guys are lining up. Try to split up so he can't stun the two of you. So right now, you're in a line. You want to like step this way a little bit. He ends up like totally whiffing it. So it's kind of okay. You guys are playing aggressive. I like this. You might need to tango a tree as you're walking. There you go. Might have gone a little too far. Oh, Kunkka! Guardian 3 body blocks. Nice. Uh-oh. Oh, he's going to turn around? I think he would have killed you, actually. Okay, so this is where if you plan to go to the lane right now, you need to clarity up right now so you have as much time as possible regenning. However, if you go back to the lane, which I kind of think you should, it is going to use up a lot of your tangos, though. So with your money, you're going to have to buy some more regen. Looks like you did. Let's see what you got. A salve. The downside of that is that you're going to be in this lane by the time... Where are you going right now? What's happening? Oh. Huh. Interesting. I don't know why they didn't get their rune. I was wondering why you got it. Works for you guys. So, Nyx is a hero that's very difficult to kill because he has... First half, he has the stun to get away. Later, he can have Spiked Carapace. But he also has really high base mana or base health regen. So harassing him is... You have to decide what is worth spending to harass him. So like a Disruptor can harass this guy, and it's not too bad because he's pretty cost efficient for the massive amount of damage he does. CM is not nearly as cost efficient when using Crystal Nova to harass because it is so much mana for her. So harassing Nyx, like you used a spell on him, and he doesn't care. He just straight up does not care with the amount of health he has. He's preventing you from pulling. You have... One thing you might have considered... Okay, at this point, it's too late anyways. But sometimes when people are guarding you from pulling and they're standing right here, you can actually tango this tree and then pull the creep wave through here. It helps if you have another tree cut here. But you don't have to. You can still pull them this way. The timing is just slightly harder. Because the creeps lose sight of you. Whereas through here is a bit more direct, so it's easier. But that is another option. You probably wouldn't have been able to use it there. I'm glad you didn't walk this way, because you know Nyx could be standing right there. They're looking around the map a good amount. That's really good. Yeah, you just want to pull a lot in this lane, because you can't really fight Nyx. Okay. I don't know if you intended to do a half pull or not, but that was good. I think a half pull is really good here. And the last hit. It goes Herald, Guardian, Crusader, right? I feel like this is pretty good for Guardian so far. I don't know if I would use that Crystal Nova, because to me, these kills are not happening. Like, all those kills, they're just really tanky strength heroes. What I would prioritize, to me, this is a passive lane. This is like, I have a Kunkka. You know, he's not really going to kill anyone. He's just going to kind of farming. Yeah, you did try it? Okay, good. It's good to know whether it's intentional or not. So I don't know if this was a conscious decision or not, but in a aggressive lane, one where you can get kills, you can take Frostbite level 2, and you can look for kills like that. Usually, you're going to need some mangoes to be able to do that, because it's not the first rotation that kills them. It's like Crystal Nova and Frostbite gets a lot of damage, but the cooldown is actually relatively low, and so then you chase, especially if they like play deep on your map. You then chase, and then you get a second round of spells off, and then that is a lot of damage, because 130 plus 150 is 280, and then if you're able to use both spells twice, that is usually a kill with some right clicks and the carry helping out. Usually you don't need all three either. I find like I get kills with like 3 spells, and that is what I use the mangoes for, or I use the mangoes to secure last hits. And I don't really use it to just casually harass, because Nyx has tangos. He has high base regen. He'll have a salve. So for Crystal Maiden, I don't so much harass unless I'm sitting at full mana or I am securing a last hit. I don't usually just harass with Crystal Nova. I try to save up enough mana to combo multiple spells together so that he doesn't really have time to make use of his high base regen or his tangos. He just dies because we used all those spells on him. And that is like when you might take Frostbite, and that's what those mangoes would be for. In this lane, where I think it can be a bit more passive, because they can't really stop Kunkka from farming, even if both heroes are there, you can just pull a lot, which means you sort of can use Crystal Nova to harass a little bit, and then we're going to take Arcane Aura at level 2. And that is what you did, but I just want to like say it to clarify. Be a little careful about running all the way out. I would stop right here at this tree, kind of where this melee creep is right now. Stand there, let them auto-attack you, and then walk out a little bit. It will still aggro the creeps. Sometimes if you walk out too far, they will try to get to about here, and then they will turn around, because this is about as far as they chase. So in this case, it worked out. These creeps are a bit fast, 320 move speed, but some of the other creeps are slower, and so they won't run out all the way, and you'll miss the pull. With your item build, by the way, you possibly could still go with Frostbite 2 at level 2 and then use it to farm a bit and use up the clarities. That's also an option. Like this is potentially a kill if you had Frostbite level 2. Just to point out the opportunity. In fact, let's go look at his health. 133. So if you Frostbite him and then auto attack, that's a kill. There's nothing wrong with going the Arcane Aura build instead. Just know, like, this is the difference. This is why you're doing one or the other. And if you do this, you're going to miss some of these opportunities. But it does mean you'll get to cast a couple more spells for it because you have your Arcane Aura a little sooner. And particularly, I use some of these words a lot, and I become self-conscious of them. But if you have teammates that use a lot of mana, that's when Arcane Aura level 2 can be a little bit better, combined with the fact that it's a passive lane. Warlock uses mana very well, but the other 3 heroes on your team, the core heroes, don't really. Drow a little bit, but not that much. Not so much that she can't wait for you to hit level 2, or level 3, sorry. So I think that is an option. I don't know if I would Crystal Nova here, because you don't want to have to keep buying mana regen, you know? So you don't want this to get too low. And if you use Crystal Nova here, you're going to kill this wave sooner. So I kind of think he just lasted. Although actually, maybe you're trying to get the creep wave back. I don't know if I care to, though. I think I just want as many creeps denied here as possible, because Kunkka is strong enough to deal with a creep wave on its own. And because this is a weird lane, you don't care as much if it pushes. You know, it's not like an AM who needs to farm here the whole time. This is a Kunkka. I don't even know what a Kunkka needs. So I kind of know what a Kunkka needs. This right here, Frostbite, could be a kill, especially with him walking over. Maybe it's still a kill. It's hard. It's hard without Frostbite. Frostbite does more damage, and it sets up extra auto attacks. You guys might have chased too far now. You see how hard it is to kill this guy without 2 spells? Back to back? Bassi is also not as good with Kunkka, who does not use mana so much. Kind of better with some other heroes. Stacking, okay. Good. It's a weird lane, but it's kind of going all right. Let's check net worth real quick. Yeah, so it's going about as well as we could expect it to. And deny off another bunch of creeps. Although, what was this for? It's Crystal Nova. Looks like you were using it to get 2 last hits. It is stacked, so they'll still kill off your your creeps in particular. But I don't know. I do want to be very careful with mana management. So like we've bought a lot of consumables so far, and it's because you've been casting a lot of spells, which we are trying to look to cut some out so we don't have to spend so much on mana. So like here, I think this is a chance to use Crystal Nova and then get close enough to use Frostbite. And actually that Frostbite, not needed, because he's already X'd. He's not going to, if Kunkka's competent, he's not going to miss it. And if he does look like he messes up the timing, then you can Frostbite after he gets pulled back by X. But that's a case where we wouldn't have to. And you have a Clarity, so you're going to be able to mana up. But if we didn't use that spell, maybe we don't even need to use the Clarity, and we just rely on our passive. And so now our Clarity's used up. We're at full mana, so this is going to waste right now, and there's nothing for us to use it on. So we're always looking to cut out some unneeded spells, so that way we can cut out the consumables. And if we don't spend money on consumables, we can get our actual permanent items sooner. You don't need to be here right now. I would go... I know these camps are dead, so head over to your actual jungle, and you can farm things with your passive, or with your Frostbite, and the passive will give you the mana to do so. Nyx is spending a lot of his money on sentries. That's okay for you. You can probably wait a little longer before using your Q there, because nice. Because Torrent has a move slow, so you don't have to overlap too much. I would walk to lane. Let's see if you're going to TP. Yes, excellent. Excellent. For everyone watching, you don't need to TP because nothing is happening. So we can just walk. And we could TP, say, bottom if needed. In that case, it wouldn't have mattered, so we're not going to. But maybe it does. Maybe it's closer to our tower, and we could have TP'd to help. I think this is fine. If you had a more traditional carry, that might not be fine, because then they might want to go farm it. But because it's close to 11 minutes, I think it's okay to do this. I think it's okay to pressure this tower as well. Maybe you didn't even need to come top, though, because Kunk is kind of okay on his own. You might have been able to go bottom. This guy's really tanky. It's really hard to get these kind of kills. Kunkka and CM, not really known for their massive amounts of damage. Okay, actually that's not fully true. Kunkka sort of is, but against a hero like Magnus, who's extremely tanky, it's not going to be enough. And if the initial burst is not enough, it's not quite likely that the follow-up is going to be enough. What is happening right now? Kind of hunting out kills. Okay. I kind of want someone to be going mid or top for that XP. Like Kunkka's going back there. I think you guys can go bottom. It's kind of weird because you don't really have an offlaner. Kunkka's technically the offlaner. Even though he was in the hard carry spot. And Lifestealer's like, you know, Lifestealer's still kind of building like a carry. This guy also building like a carry. I guess this is Guardian games. It is making your playmaking ability a little awkward. I kind of still think you guys could probably be pushing bottom, but Drow is like decently strong, so this is probably also kind of okay. Bit of a deep dive, sort of working out anyways. Working out very well anyways. All right. Oh no! Ah, too bad. Okay. So that went well for us. Pushing T2 at this point, not really necessary. I know you're not there anyways, but I agree. Let's go bottom. Good ping. I want to see what you do. I like this though. I like that you're walking top because you can TP bottom. Oh, trying to stack. Oh, oops. Okay, that definitely should have been a stack. And if you're just coming up here to jungle, then I do not like that. What I wanted you to do was to either stack and then make your way bottom, or make your way top to defend this tower so that your team can keep fighting without you. But I don't want you to just farm in your jungle while your team is like doing stuff, especially when it's 15 minutes. I also thought maybe you were running to the 15-minute rune. I thought you were going to stack and go to the rune. And I think that's what you should have done instead. That has more value for your team. Now this is okay. Pushing out mid now after that fight. I want you to make your way bottom now. We're going bottom because this is the... Funny enough, this is the last tower remaining, even though it's usually the last. Careful on Frostbite. Oh, actually, I wasn't paying attention to your build. Let's, let me check your skill build real quick. So you went Q. I saw that. That was good. 2 points in passive, and then Q. Okay, I think that's fine. Actually here, instead of maxing out Arcane Aura, I would start maxing out Frostbite instead. And in this game, if you're doing what BSJ wants you to do, then I do think you need to get Crystal Nova first. In other games, this is where the wave pushing starts. Okay, then that lines up perfectly with maxing out Crystal Nova. And that's why you have to do it. In other games where you're more confident that your team will like do what they need to do, then I might consider getting W, maxing W this game, to keep him trapped so that he can't just time walk out. The longer he's rooted, the longer your team has a chance to kill him. But otherwise, I think maxing Crystal Nova is a pretty safe build for CM. If you just need to default to a build, then what you're doing is fine. And this is some creep jungling that I don't know if you need to do quite yet. Okay, he didn't really deny any of these, but you do want to be careful about frost blasting the wave when the enemy is on top of it, because it might just damage the creeps enough, and then he just denies all of them in front of your face. Okay, your team's not really in the mid lane, so actually this is fine. You're going to be pretty rich, pretty high leveled. Shouldn't quite be that way, but that's what happens. That's what happens. You can save yourself a sentry by putting the sentry right around here where you're standing, and then you use Crystal Nova to check here and to check here, and that way you don't have to, let's see. Yeah, you do what you do right here. But you could have saved yourself 75 gold by not placing this one. Just put the sentry here, and in fact you even have your courier on the way, which means you can use your courier to check here, and then you'll save your mana. But at this point, CM is like okay casting 1 or 2 Crystal Novas. I think that ward's fine. Okay, actually back away there. So up to that point was really good. So here, I might even, if his Q was still going, I might even cancel my ult and then quickly throw these out. But throwing those is good, and then start to walk away. Magic Stick and Glimmer Cape, and you might survive long enough to get one more spell off and then kill him, or your team will then follow up and kill him. So you don't need to stand there, back up a little bit. You might still die, but I just think that's probably your best bet from there. Got a lot of clarities. Team, please. All right, it's fine, it's fine. Is it? Fine, right? Yeah, okay, it's fine. So you might have been able to survive there. Not a huge deal though. A support dying there for your team to win a fight. Is all good? Yeah, I guess you do. Just to clarify though, I do think you should ask your team. Okay, actually you don't even have to ask them. If they had teleports up, I think you should ask one of the cores, do they want to come top and farm this? Because you as a support would like to play in the bottom around here and, you know, farm the enemy's jungle, push their waves down here, and be part of the team fights while your carry is up here farming freely. If none of them are going to come up here, though, you ask and no one says anything, or they have all their TBs on cooldown like now, then yes, I do think someone needs to come up, get all this farm, and so what you did is fine from there. We still want to try to play correctly, you know, even though BSJ is saying to push all the waves, and I think he was saying this too from what I watched of his videos. We want to try to play the correct way, tell your carries to, like, go get the farm. I mean, you don't want to micromanage them, but, like, don't just assume it's yours. See if they're going to get it. Maybe try to ask them, does someone want to go farm top? Try to play the game correctly, you know? And if they're not going to come get the farm that is free and meant for them, then okay, we are going to do it because we don't want it to go to waste. It does kind of put you out of the usual position of what you want to do, but you kind of have to do what the carry is not currently doing. Be a little careful. Okay, so doing this reveals that you have a ward. You should not be able to see this guy yet. So casting those spells should let this guy know that you have a ward up here. Oops. Does kind of reveal you have a ward there. And since you just placed it, not ideal if he dewards it. We'll see if he actually does. Yeah, so I like what you were doing. I liked coming up here, and I liked pushing this out. But once you see... Let's go here. This is still fine. As soon as I see this guy, probably just cast Crystal Nova, maybe Frostbite, and then walk away. But Crystal and Nova enough is good enough to start pushing this out. Or just back off. Just go to your tower now, or go farm this hard camp. Wait to see what he does. Maybe he shoves this wave in, and then you can farm it back here, which is safer. If you Crystal Nova this, then if he doesn't touch these creeps will all kill all these, and if you backed off, you would miss all this XP. Sometimes you just need to do that, especially if you see more dangerous people here, or you need to rotate bottom very soon, then just throw the spell out, back up, TP off. But in this case, I think you're okay to stay up here, so I would just back away here and see what he does. But actually going on him like that kind of reveals that you have a ward, and it also puts you in position to die like this. I see 4 enemy heroes up here. Hopefully your team is pushing. Maybe ping the towers, draw on the map. You see 5, you know, I would say that. I'd tell my team, I see 5 heroes top. Can you push mid or bottom? Drow's TPing top, but think of it this way. If your team wants to defend top, you need 5 teleports up here because no one else was in position. Although Kunkka's kind of in position. But you're not even alive yet, so everyone is going to have to TP top. And I don't know. I kind of think just getting T2 mid, T2 bottom, or at least pressuring them is better. Yeah. What you're pinging is right. He should be pushing that. Ooh, Drow should not be up here alone. Oh, Lord. Alright, so dead a kill. Not your fault. You told them they were taught. Okay. Then that's fine. That is you trying to play correctly, telling your team there's 5 up here, push those lanes. If your team doesn't do it, you know, what can you do? I would not walk up here, though. Ah, it looks like you're going to get a kill, actually. Maybe it's kind of okay. Let's go back, though. Let's reevaluate this. Let me see it. So we kind of know 5 are still up here. Overall, I think I'm still against this, even though you guys end up getting 2 kills. Because it is the 2 of you versus 5. Okay, actually, now we see someone bottom. It's still 2 of you versus 4. And no one is TPing in yet. So, like, if Warlock and Lifestealer were teleporting right now to join, then you walking in is okay. But without that, it's not like the 2 of you can, like, beat 4 of them. You're not that ahead. So coming in first like this is very scary. If anything, let Kunkka go in first. Now, he does use solo RP on you. That's kind of okay. And you end up getting these 2 kills. Maybe it would be better for Kunkka to get it, but it's not like you can control that. In the end, that was kind of good for you, where your life was traded for 2 kills. But it shouldn't have worked out, I feel. Daedalus? I guess that's kind of strong. In the end, it did kind of protect the top tower. The overall effect was good. I just don't know if that, like, I don't necessarily want to encourage you to do that all the time, because I don't think it should work. That's why I'm kind of conflicted. Okay, you're coming bottom. Let me rewind real quick. Right before you TP'd here, you see your team top. You decided to come bottom. Team's gonna lose the fight. I don't mind what you're doing. I'm just trying to... I'm trying to debate if you should have walked here instead of TP. I normally wouldn't TP like this, but I decided to push waves. Yeah, I don't mind you trying to apply BSJ's idea. I was just trying to think if it was worth TPing there rather than walking there so that you would be ready to TP out. But like you said, you usually wouldn't do that. You know what? As long as you know you usually wouldn't do that, I think it's fine. And we can see how it plays out. Looks like your team died, and you push this in, forced Void to come down here. That feels kind of okay. It is okay in Dota to do things you think are suboptimal, so long as you identify that I don't think this is ideal, but I'm going to try it and see how it works. So in this case, you are saying, I don't usually think I should TP bottom, but I am trying to apply what BSJ said and to test it out, so I will do it. And as long as you're actively aware of that, I think it can be a learning experience, and then it can be fine. Luckily, we didn't get bashed there. Okay, you do have some sentries. So if you want to keep up the split pushing, we are going to have to be aware that, okay, BSJ, or I'm not BSJ, this Faceless Void has a Shadow Blade, so we have to be, we have to be a little careful, not get ourselves killed. Sorry, we have to go back to your perspective. Cheating, I'm seeing the whole map. Yeah, so we see a couple of them. I would be getting out of here. We'll let that guy die. He walked back in a bad way. That's not your fault. If you want to check this high ground, I don't think you had to. I'm trying to cut myself out from saying necessarily all the time. If you want to check this high ground, think about what this sentry sees. Yeah, there we go. It overlaps a lot with this tower. So we have a lot of overlap here. We see here, we kind of see here. Who do we need to spot with this sentry, though? You needed to spot this ward, so it was fine that as long as you're within this, that's good. But then there's a Nyx, and this guy has built a Shadow Blade. So, let's make extra use of this sentry. Let's try to spot Nyx, try to spot Faceless Void. Where are they going to come from? They might be standing near here, waiting to dive the tower, or waiting for someone to walk out of tower and go. They might walk up through this path, or they might walk through here. Or they might be like in this area if we push out a little bit. So I think this sentry would benefit from being further out, either over here or over here, because we see more useful information with a sentry. Whereas a lot of this is overlap. And like, are we ever going to use this section? No. We maybe we use this section, but this is on our half of the map, which is a bit riskier for them. So like seeing out here, we're more likely to run into a Nyx who happens to be scouting for the rune or something. So pushing this sentry out a little further would be a little more useful, I think. All right, we got 4 people in our jungle. Head mid, nice. Let's shove this out. What'd you buy? You bought a Glimmer? Now you're working on a 4-staff. I think 4-staff is not so good against Grimstroke ult, Faceless ult, and his rocket, because you can 4-staff away, but the rocket still follows you. Yule's is kind of okay to dodge rocket and to maybe save yourself or disable Faceless Void or Magnus when they come into Chrono or RP. You Yule's them up, and then they kind of waste some of that time, right? Your team's stunned, but for 2.5 seconds, no one's hitting them. I think that's kind of good. If you feel really strong, might consider a BKB, because you will never get a full ult off with this guy in the game. He'll just walk in and then Carapace, and it's going to be really hard to get your ultimate off. So, there's that. Ghost Scepter, kind of okay as well. A lot of them are heavily right-click based, so if you can dodge that, that's good. Your team also is lacking initiation, so getting a Blink Dagger could be good, so you can Blink, Frostbite, one of these guys to set up, Kunkka's follow-up. Kunkka has X Mark, but I don't know, it's nice to have another form of initiation. And if you can stay further out in a team fight with that Blink Dagger, and you wait for him to Chrono, you wait for him to RP, then you can Blink in, Frostbite them, slow them, kind of help your team that way. And that way you don't feel pressured to be like closer to help, but then you get caught in those spells as well. So I think both of those would be okay. Another TP bot. I kind of do feel like you could walk to this one. The other one I didn't mind as much because there was a lot. But this case I do think you could probably walk bottom. You are buying a good amount of time here.
Dyer's top tower's getting beat down.
I don't know if you need to place a sentry. This seems like a waste. He already hit you with his ult. You know he's not invis. And maybe you'll see like Faceless in there, but it's very niche, right? This would be better. If nothing else, this would be better to be placed in the lane.
Double kill.
In the late game, I didn't see when you bought these, but once you have like this Bassy 4-staff, especially with this Arcane Ring, you don't need as many consumables. Looks like we're smoking up as a team. We were kind of in the creep wave a bit, so they could see it. And you'll notice, placing a sentry like this when you're smoked, de-warding after you smoked, not so good, because one, they may have already seen you smoke, so that part's no good. But then two, you found something, but you realized, I can't auto-attack this, otherwise the smoke's broke. So if you want to smoke back here, make sure this wave's pushed up, check for a ward like up here, do the de-warding you want to do, then smoke, and then you just have to go. If you think they have a ward here, leave it, actually. Like, what if they had a ward and sentry here, and then they see you drop a sentry, you decide not to auto-attack because it would break your smoke. But if they're paying attention to the minimap, they'll realize that that sentry wasn't there before. It suddenly appeared out of nowhere. They're smoked. And even if you find something, and you cast your spell up there, if you can't auto-attack, what's it matter? You're going to have to cast another spell later. So just leave it and commit to your smoke. Even de-warding on the enemy side, like dropping a sentry, can have the same issue where you kind of reveal that you're in their area. So even that can be a little risky sometimes. Ended up a little too close to our carry. I can't believe the two of you are alive. What? How? Alright. I kind of like this. I would use your other spells first so that, so see, this channel time is, does it say on here? 10 seconds, yeah. Cooldown of this, at this level, level 3, 7 seconds. Cooldown of this, 5 seconds. So you could four-staff yourself in, Crystal Nova, Frostbite, and then ult. And by the time your ult is done channeling, these spells are off cooldown again. So it's just a bit more burst for your combo. And in fact, you could even four-staff in, Q, W, Arcane Ring to get it going on cooldown, and then ultimate. But your idea is good, to like get in here and help kill this guy as quickly as you can. Alright, you get comboed. You walk a little close. 3-man RP. I can't even see Drow. These are like so stacked, I can't even see her. That's wild. I cannot believe you guys are alive. I'm so tilted if I'm the enemy team. I'm pinging like crazy. Gyro even bought back. Oh, I'm so mad if I'm the enemy team. Where are you going? Who's going to kill you right now? Right? It doesn't matter if you're low health if no one's alive. So long as you're not going to like stand in the creep wave, you know? You have triangle boots. You don't need to back up. I hope you turn around right now. No, go with the team. Go with them. Go with them. This tower should be dead. Okay, you know what? You can TP top. I'm okay with that too, actually. But your team needs to get this tower. And I'm worried because I think at this level, if people see others TP out, then they're more likely to disperse as well. But I think if you walk with them, they are more inclined to like go with everyone else. So I'll leave that up to you, whatever your experience at this rank is. But that is my concern, that I think it's good for you to TP out and get this farm because you're so low, and that your team can push this tower without you. But will your team see you TPing out and then they also leave? Like Drow, she's leaving because she feels low. But who can kill her?
Radiant's bottom towers seen better days.
Faceless? Sure.
No breaking down
But then he'll
radiant
die.
Structures like this.
She just sits in the back, shadow bladed. Push this objective, you know? I don't know. Maybe. Plus you have the detection. I don't know if... Okay, this guy has some. But like, if you came forward and placed a sentry and then placed some deep wards now while they're all dead, I think that would be really good. If you were watching that the team review, kind of thinking about those temporary options versus permanent options, you can always come defend your tower or farm in your jungle, but you can only sometimes place deep wards on their side safely. You can always do it if you're willing to risk your life. But like when 4 are dead, and he even bought back and died, that is a very safe opportunity to walk out, drop a ward, clarity up in that time, your tranquil boots will be going, and then you'll be pretty healthy by the time you rejoin your team. They are respawning now, so I want to be careful. I want to back up. I don't care about denies if no one's even here. And in fact, it might even be good to not deny so that you can get a little bit more tower damage. Looks like this guy is here, though. Instead of just standing on your side right now, I might go farm your hard camp. You have some time until it respawns, so you're not going to steal farm from any carries. And because we don't really know where too many of the enemy heroes are. Yeah, this is good. Staying kind of hidden, like this. And right now, you know, run over here, a little bit more efficient. Or like go get the runes.
As foretold.
I know, Tardy. I can't believe he lived there. It was an insane save. I was like so close. The other team is like losing it right now, you know? I bought back and died for this. They're both out with like 10 health. Lifestealer's fighting. You may have been distracted managing your courier, but... You know, they are going on him. And you could run over, Glimmer Cape him, cast some spells. Probably help this guy out a little bit. And like this stuff's going on, and you're kind of just hitting creeps. This is looking bad.
Mid tower's nothing now.
You are high leveled. I guess that's the whole thing with the pushing out the lanes, huh? Yeah, once we lose Lifestealer, our team just needs to get out of there as quickly as possible. People were trying. It just kind of like snowballed into a bad fight, though. But maybe if you help the Lifestealer, maybe he doesn't die. Maybe you Glimmer him. Maybe he gets to infest you, or maybe you force staff him away, something like that. Possibly. Or maybe the 2 of you die there, but then the rest of your team gets out. Kind of okay as well. Okay, pinging Roshan. They did use all their abilities, so I do think you could fight if you all went in there. Although you are missing Kunkka, and he's a big part of your AoE. Yeah, a little too late. Maybe ping Roshan. Ping the timer, I mean. You guys have all your neutrals?
Do something about that bottom tower.
I might consider switching to one of these. The mana pool is nice, but you do have a 4-staff at this point, which gives you some intelligence. So switching to like Ring of Aquila, which would be less intelligence, but it gives you more mana regen, and so this has 2 armor, and this has a 2 armor aura, plus some general stats. That's kind of nice. This gives you more stats and mana regen and another disable, but the disable's not that important, to be honest. Craggy Coat, also pretty good. The large amount of armor, who really cares if you lose attack speed? You're a Crystal Maiden, you're going to cast spells. I think that could have been okay. How is this on cooldown already, actually? Maybe I was speeding along too long. Looks like it's gonna be tough to win this one at this point. now, but maybe they'll still throw on high ground. So we're going for Aghanims. We kind of said earlier, actually I don't know if I said it in the video, so I'll say it again now. I don't think it's very good because I think this guy will just spike Carapace and cancel it. But then they also have many ways to cancel your channel. And so if you want to get Aghanims, you kind of need a BKB first to remove a lot of the ways they have to cancel your ult. And then they'll have to commit RP or Chrono or get a bash to cancel your ult. But until then, this guy will always cancel your ult with Spiked Carapace. And so then that 4,000 gold is kind of not going into very much. Maybe even like a Scythe is good. If you want to think about like big late game items. But like Ghost Scepter, I think is a decent buyback. Maybe you could have TP'd to the tier 2 tower though. Ooh, okay. I don't know if you stop channeling. I think he respawns, right? And then your channel keeps going. But it works out anyways. Okay. Team push objectives, please. Yeah? Drow? Mid? Anyone? Guys? Hello? I guess that's why we have to push lanes to support, huh? Okay, Arcane Rune. Going to ward. Yeah, this is a good time. I might even place a deeper ward than this. Okay, so this is some overlapping sentries. So yeah, I would come up here and drop your sentries first, and then try to place a deep ward like here or at this very edge. Somewhere less likely to get dewarded itself, because now that you've dewarded theirs, you know they're going to come in here with sentries, and there's a good chance they get this one if they put a sentry like anywhere in this area. So like putting a really weird one like here, or maybe even at the very edge over here. I think that's fine. Stop channeling to root him. Okay, that's fair. And you're probably right. Your team kind of doesn't have other crowd control, so... Yeah, you're probably right, actually. Maybe if Kong got really good Q timing.
Radiant's top tower's hurting.
Okay, you did take the Craggy Coat. Cool. Oh, thank you for following. Say Guga Gorby or GG Gorby. Jorby. The hard G. This is really risky, farming on their half when they have multiple invis heroes. Be a little scared. And if we think about the idea of BSJ pushing waves, farming on their jungle when there's like bottom to push, or... I think you had pushed out the mid wave at that point. But bottom to push instead of like farming their jungle dangerously. I think running bottom might have been better. Yeah, we see that guy coming. We want to get out. Because you farm so heavily with this playstyle of trying to push out waves like BSJ, it may be worth considering like rushing some bigger impact items. So like instead of a usual 4-staff, you can go for Blink, which is usually harder to build. Or instead of like going for a third small item like Ghost Scepter, something like a Scythe. Things that have like really high impact that usually supports can't get to, but when you're farming the whole game, you can. Solar Crest also pretty good to drop on Drow. That'll protect her from when she gets ulted, but also just give her a lot of attack damage. Stand away. Yeah. Okay. So when you look for these kind of fights, I see Magnus. I just saw Void. You don't have any detection, so actually you struggle to do this. These guys are going to look for a chance to use their whole abilities. So I think forcing yourself in like this is actually asking to get caught in all this. I would keep staying at the edge until he uses an ability. You are a backline support. You don't want to go in first. Let other people go in, let the fight start, and then you start helping out. Unless you're getting a pick off, like you need to frostbite first or something, sure. But in this case, you see multiple heroes, so you should know a team fight's going to break out, and then you want to stay in the back, let it happen, and then join. Are you actually going to live, though? Okay. kind of working out. Yeah, but the team's got no detection now. You definitely need to grab a couple. Oh no, Drow. Can we kill this guy?
I don't think so. Maybe? Uh-oh. Looks like no. Oh, this is value Shadowblade.
Yeah, you're gonna need because he has a BKB, he could Shadowblade, BKB off Dust, and then, or I'm sorry, if you dusted, he could BKB then Shadowblade, or he Shadowblades. Like, the fight goes long enough where he gets to use the Shadowblade a couple times, and so Dust may not be enough. You may need a couple sentries as well, and to drop a sentry during a team fight. Okay, still dead for a while. Speed up. See where you go. Someone should go top. I wish someone would walk there. I guess it's not bad that you TP it in. When it's that close, I may try to leave it for a carry. Like, this is pretty safe farm to get, you know? None of them apparently want it, but... So this is kind of safe to get. If you just get these with the last hits and let a carry, like maybe Drow will TP up here, that would be nice. Yeah, but maybe it's fine. Maybe it's not a big deal. I don't know. This is hard to say because it kind of feels like your team just doesn't have a offlaner. You have like 2 hard carries and a Kunkka. Kunkka can be an offlaner, but he's built like a mid laner. So you kind of have 2 hard carries and a mid laner. Yeah, this is like a mid build. And I think this helps, I guess. But it's very hard for you guys to take fights because they have so much crowd control. And you guys are just hard carries. And Crystal Maiden is like a soft disable support. She has roots and she has her Q, but those can be BKB'd off. Okay, walking out. I kind of don't remember the Roshan timer. I think it should be somewhere around now. I think this should be a little further out. Because you don't really see like this stuff. You see their ward, but if you think about what it sees on this side, because you place it closer here, you see like this part of your map, which isn't that useful, and this is all blocked anyways. So I think pushing it up a little further, you see more useful information. Like seeing their side is more useful than seeing your own side like this. Even if you have to reveal yourself a little bit, but you can just like glimmer cape, kind of peek your head out, do it real quick, and then get out. It's really scary to approach this way. Oh, what just happened? Misclick? Seems like it. I think you should drop a sentry in that area first instead of... So here's what you can do. With your Force Staff, you can break this tree right here, Force Staff like through here, or Force Staff this tree, and you can put your Observer on here or here, and then put a sentry on the low ground, and that will be much less likely for them to deward than this. If they put a sentry here, they're definitely going to get this. And it's not that weird to put a sentry out here. Especially when there's like an Invis hero or Shadowblade buyers. Oops, walked in. I don't know. I've been trying to watch for like playing BSJ's way with pushing, and I don't think he joined many team fights. But in this case, they're kind of just 5-manning killing people, and they have more crowd control. It makes it very difficult for you guys.
Dire's top tower. You know the drill.
I probably haven't been paying attention enough to the minimap when you choose to split push, though. Because you can kind of decide when it's, like, too dangerous or not. We did earlier, like, deciding when to back up or not. Like that example when you were top and you got killed by Grimstroke and, actually, it's like 3 heroes. Not going that aggressive at that point. But in this late game pushing, it's still possible to split push, but it's really hard because now you can be, like, solo killed by so many heroes. Oh no. Sped up a little bit, missed the whole fight. Alright, let's see. Oof. Okay. Kind of working out. Okay, guys, that went way better than expected. So that should reveal there's a ward in there, so mental note that to grab a sentry. That kind of worked out because they did not grab Drow, and they weren't able to combo that spell. If they had, then that would have been like 3 of your heroes dead, and that would have been really good. But they kind of messed up, and Warlock was able to, well, everyone was able to get off their spells. It might have been a bit too deep for Magnus. I don't know. Ooh. Oh no! Oh no! He messed up. Yeah, not much to say there. Just be careful of accidentally walking into Chrono. You don't have the other tier 2, so you have to choose to end the game or get out. And since they bought back, you probably just get out. Go push some other tier 2s. To push high ground, you need sentries. Sorry. But you need sentries because... Multiple things to say here. You need sentries because you can't... Dust is like you see someone go invis, and then you dust. It's a reaction to them. You can't afford that in this game because a reaction to Void is that he has chronoed your team already. And it's too late to react. Yeah, you need to see him preemptively, see him coming in with invis, so you can respond first, and not after he chronos. So to push high ground, you really need some sentries. I'd be careful of pushing this wave, that's the next thing. Also don't need to dust here. Maybe that was panic. It's kind of working out. It shouldn't. I don't want to encourage this. But I don't think you need to push this wave because BSJ pushes waves to pressure objectives and take towers and to create space. This is about as far as you can push a wave already. And so coming up to push this is putting yourself at risk, especially when your team was kind of further back. And then it did kind of pay off because Nyx missed the stun. You 4-staffed out. And Drow was there to then kill them. But it very well could have been not that case. I just hear him RP. He probably faked it. Yeah, you guys need these other tier 2s. Tell your team, ping it. Push it yourself. But pushing mid when you already have racks, kind of not necessary. Didn't this guy have like every spell? Didn't want to use them? I feel like he could have chain stunned off that Abyssal. Abyssal, immediately Torrent, ult.
I thought they warned you not to sleep with reeds.
I kind of feel like that would have been the way. I guess Abyssal's not quite long enough, but try to root the void. Yeah, that's okay. The right idea, though he has BKB, so rooting him will not do that much at this point. Yeah, this is a free D ward, money and gold, and remove the enemy information of your map. It doesn't seem that useful while you guys are playing out here, but it can see couriers coming in and out, and it lets them know that you are not in your base, which is useful when they want to push high ground. Plus, it's just free gold for you, so you definitely want to get it. See how you guys like don't have a frontliner, so you're constantly in the front and you're about to get chronoed again like this? Yeah. Because you're a backliner, you like never want to be in the front. Let's see how this fight goes. It's kind of working out right now. Thank goodness for Warlock ult. He did the most. Oh, everyone did a good amount of there, but I think a lot of it came from... I think this finishes the fight. So yeah, to me, I thought your split pushing was pretty good. I'm still trying to figure out the best, because I know like Guardian games can be really weird, where like playing as a typical support is not the way to go. Like what did we just see? And split pushing seemed all right here. You went a bit too far a couple times. The bigger issue I want to point out for you is like how in a lot of these team fights you were too far up and you would get caught by Chrono or RP. And a lot of the time you want that to not be the case, where you're further back. Yeah, no problem. Happy to. Yeah, so try to identify what your hero is. Crystal Maiden is a backline support. So you want to see the fight start, and then you will help out. You don't want to be the one in the front most of the time. That's just a general rule. And I think if you keep that in mind, then you will avoid getting caught in Chrono, RP, and you won't die straight off the bat, and that will help trim these deaths down. Definitely a couple that we can avoid there. And I think we already talked about the build, skill build. Let me check your talents, because I kind of missed some of those. Where's CM? What's your alternative to the 200 attack speed? 50 freezing? Yeah. Attack speed's probably okay. Also, I'll say, because you said this is your first CM game, it's not obvious, but the magic resistance talent is affected by this multiplier here, this self-factor bonus. So this is 6% for your team and 18% for yourself. So in this game, it was not good because the enemy had a lot of physical damage. But some games where they are heavy magic damage, I do think that magic aura talent is pretty good. But in this game, not needed. And then the attack speed, very good against like Phoenix, Tombstone, Nimbus, Caudal ult, things like that. Otherwise, it depends how likely you are to get off a good ultimate. In this game, not very likely, so I think it's okay to get the 200 attack speed. Otherwise, maybe I lean towards the ult damage. But attack speed is also pretty good, so I don't know, it's hard to say. And then I generally like the Frostbite duration, but the Crystal Nova is also really good, especially if you get the -3 second talent here. It just means you are putting out a crazy amount of backline damage. 500 damage nuke every, like, 5 seconds. As long as you aren't caught in those chronos and you're sitting in the back and you're throwing out Crystal Novas, that's really good. Especially if your team doesn't need more lockdown, and if they're like Lifestealer, if they're Jug, they all have BKBs, where the root duration doesn't matter so much because they have ways to remove it with the BKB, Manta, stuff like that. Okay, I think that's it. In summary, I think it was good for you to push those waves because your cores clearly weren't doing it. And so that got you pretty farmed. And that would usually let you help out more in team fights because you're so farmed. But then because you positioned a little aggressively, you died, so you weren't quite able to make use of it. But I do feel like if you keep it up, if you keep trying to push waves, you get farmed, and then be a little more careful with your positioning, then I think you'll be able to transition that extra net worth from pushing into like helping these team fights a bit more. And then that will help you out. So still seems good what BSJ said. Push waves. Sounds good to me. Yeah? All right. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you next time.